I'm Kelsey. I am a bartender in Nashville International Airport and I go to MTSU. I am part of an awesome new program, Tourism and Hospitality Management. I'm focusing on event planning
Okay.
or maybe even like operations of a hotel. I don't know exactly what I want to go into,
Yeah.
but I was wondering what you do here.
Yeah. So my name's Liz Hampton. I am an event services manager here. So basically, an event planner. I don't do any selling of events, but once uh, events are sold, then I take over. I've worked here for 5.5 years. I started at the front desk, so I started in operations and I kind of worked my way over into the catering department. So that's what I do. I also went to MTSU and I did organizational communication, but I wish that I could have done the degree that you're doing.
That's
So,
okay. So a lot of the students that were in that say that. Like they're
yeah,
like they didn't have that when I went there. I
yeah,
wish they would have had that.
mhm,
Yeah, it's brand new. I hope it takes off.
yeah,
They need a program like this.
yeah.
Um, do you like operations or the event side better?
I think I like the event side better just because that's what I went to school for and that's kind of what I wanted to end up doing. But I liked front desk too, and I think that at some point I might go back into operations and maybe like the front office side. I don't really love food and beverage. I don't really love like the bar or the restaurant area, just for me personally. But I love front office. I like it because you get to meet people, new people all day, every day. Um, but I'm really liking event planning, and I've only been in it for about a year now. Um, but I'm liking it, and so I think I'll stick with this for a while. But I might at some point go back to operations just to kind of like broaden my horizons.
Cool.
Yeah,
What does a typical work day look like for you? Probably different every day.
yeah, it's different every day. I'm an early bird, so I usually come in at like 7:30 or 8, and I stay until whenever I need to, however long it takes to get things done. If I have a group in house, so if I have an event going on, like a conference or anything like that, the first thing I do is say good morning to them, make sure that their day is going good, and make sure they don't need anything. And then usually I'm back in the office by 8:30. We have a meeting every morning at 8:30 just to kind of go over our day and what's expected for the day. Um, so that's how I start my day, and then I'm at my desk a lot, event planning. I'm emailing with clients, with groups that are coming up, detailing what we call it. So doing BEOs, which are banquet event orders, and that is the thing that has everything on it as far as like the food, the setup for the room, the AV, and then that goes out to our team so that they are prepared for the event. So I'm at my desk a lot, and then if there's things that are needed on the floor as far as like help with anything, with setting a room, if we have a flip that's really fast, like if we need to go from classroom style to banquet style, and it's super quick turnaround, I might help with that. I might help with plating food in the kitchen if they need help back there. So it definitely changes daily, and I have worked 32 days in a row before, and then
Oh
sometimes I have
wow.
weekends off. So it all just depends on how many events I have going on.
Right. So you
Yeah.
have like busy season and slow season, kind
Yeah,
of.
kind of. I would say that our quarter 3 every year, which is July, August, September, is typically our busiest of the year. Um, but it's really busy all the time. You would think around the holidays and stuff that it's slow, but it's not. We have holiday parties and families come here for like family gatherings and get-togethers for the holidays and stuff. So it's pretty busy year round, honestly.
Hmm. What do you think are some key attributes people need to go into event planning?
Definitely organization. I that's I think that's the number one skill you need, especially when you're handling multiple events. Like sometimes I have 4 events going on at one time, so being organized and being able to keep everything kind of separated and remembering things, that's something that I've had to work on. Luckily, I would say I'm a really detailed person, so it works for me.
I am too.
Yeah,
Good.
so
Okay, good.
being in event planning, if you're detailed and you like being detailed and you enjoy that and you enjoy being organized, that's going to help a lot because I would say that those are the top skills that you need to kind of
Oh,
be able to
good.
survive. Yeah.
What do you think is the most rewarding part of your job?
I would say when my clients are happy at the end of an event. I just had an event. It was this lady's first time planning a large conference, and she was all the way in Canada. So we did, multiple conference calls. She came here back in April to meet me, and it was last week, and it went amazing. Like, it went super great, and she was happy because it was her first time doing an event, and she got to work with me. And it was, I'm still only a year in, so I'm still learning too. But the event went great, and so I would say that's the most rewarding part, is whenever a client leaves and they're just super satisfied with everything. That makes me super happy.
Yeah. What do you think the most challenging part is?
Also, clients. You're working with so many different people, especially in a hotel. Not only am I working with different clients all the time, like I said, I could have 4 or 5 events going on at once. I'm also working with everyone here on the hotel side. So I'm working with the front desk, I'm working with housekeeping, I'm working with the engineering department, I'm working with banquets and AV. So it's challenging, trying to keep up with all of the moving parts. And different personalities. People have different personalities in the workplace, and that's always something to think about when you're dealing with other people at work or your clients outside of work. Just kind of learning how to get along with and make things happen smoothly. So I think it's challenging with all the different types of people, but it's also rewarding too, just because you get to meet so many people, and I love meeting new people, so it works for me.
Maybe that's how it is in the airport. I just meet people from all over the world, and everybody's
constantly.
different cultures.
Yeah,
I like that too. I enjoy that. What are your favorite types of events to plan?
I personally like corporate events. I feel like they have, they usually have like an event planner that works for them, for their company. So just like, for example, Kroger comes here all the time for corporate meetings. And the good thing about working with corporate events is they kind of know exactly what they want. They already have someone in charge of everything. They know kind of what to expect. So it makes the planning process a lot easier. And sometimes when you're working with certain markets, there are lots of like budget restrictions and things, and some people don't have as much money to spend. So it's kind of fun to work with corporate because they typically have more money to spend on the event, and so you get to be more creative and come up with custom menus and stuff like that.
I've heard that from a few people.
Yeah,
a bigger budget's always nicer. You can do a lot more with it. Yeah. Do you think it's better to be an event planner inside of a hotel, or have you ever worked? You said you're new to it, but outside, what do you think the differences are of somebody being an event planner, let's say for a company that's what they focus on?
Yeah, I think that there's pros and cons to both. One thing about hotels is, one, we never sleep. Hotels never close. We're open 24/7, 365. So we literally never close. So there's always something going on, which can be good, and then sometimes it can be tiring just because it's a lot of hours. And then another thing is we have sleeping rooms. So in addition to planning the whole event, you're also managing their sleeping rooms. How many sleeping rooms do they need? How many sleeping rooms are they occupying here? Do we even have enough rooms for them, or do they need to go out into the hotels out here that we have out front of the hotel? So I think that there's pros and cons. The hotel is, I think, prepares you more for going outside of hotels, because once you can handle this, because there's so many moving parts, I feel like you can be an event planner anywhere. But I don't really see myself ever leaving hotels. I enjoy it. I've liked it ever since I started working in hotels. So I kind of think I see myself staying.
I feel like hotels. I would enjoy hotels.
Yeah.
I just don't know exactly what. But I like the environment. Hotels are cozy. Yeah. Do you have the most memorable moment from any of the events you've ever done?
I would say it kind of goes back to the thing I was talking about with being able to have a successful event. I have had, clients that have come here from all out of the country, all over the country. And I had one client, like I said, who came from Canada, and working with her was really rewarding just because she came for her first meeting back in April, and that was when I was only 4 months into this position. So it was rewarding being able to kind of learn together because it was her first time doing a big conference and I was kind of new into the job. So it was really memorable because it went great and she was super happy. But she as a person, just the lady I was working with, she was super funny and just so nice and everything. So I feel like I'll always remember her.
Nice. Okay, so you said you started in operations and then moved to events.
Mhm.
Is that like common in hotels? Like, can you move around or move
Yeah,
up?
yeah,
And
it can
like,
be.
how did that?
I know that most hotels kind of have like a rule or whatever you want to call it, where you have to stay in your job where you're hired at least 90 days before you can go elsewhere. Um, but I know, certain companies are really into internal promotions, and I think that the company that I work for, that the hotel is owned and managed by, they're really into internal promotions, and so when someone's ready to kind of move up, that they try to make that happen. I know it happens here quite a bit. People moving up either from the front office to the sales or catering department, or from the front office just a clerk up to like an assistant manager. That just happened recently. So I think you have to put in the time. Like I said, I worked at the front desk forever, and then I finally was able to move up after I graduated from school. So I think once you put in the time and you really like kind of learn and master what you're doing, then they see that you're ready to kind of go to the next step. So
Okay, what advice would you give to somebody?
I would definitely say be a sponge. I am the type of person who I want to learn everything. So I would go to my manager and say, hey, I finished my checklist for the day. Can you give me something else I can do? Or can you teach me something new that I can help with every day when I'm here? So I would suggest just, reaching out as much as you can to people who you know have the knowledge that you want and just try to learn from them. That's what I did. And it got me to where I am right now. So I think that is definitely something I would suggest.
Do you remember any like classes in particular in college that helped you like be very successful? Like that you are like working and you think, oh, I remember this in school. Like, I'm glad I learned this.
Yeah, I did my master's at MTSU and I did it in liberal arts because the hospitality program wasn't there yet. Um, and I did some tourism classes, and those, now I think back, I wrote papers on just the hospitality industry in general. I talked about how overall in the United States, like, social media has an impact on hotels, and how reading reviews online has an impact on hotels. Now it's crazy because I work in hotels and I'm able to read reviews all the time. People review me after an event happens. They get in a whole survey just about me and how it was to work with me. And so I just think it's crazy how, it kind of comes full circle. And I can't remember my teacher's name in that class, but he teaches in the program that you're in too. He has red hair. That's all I
I
remember.
haven't had him.
Okay. Rudy. His name is Rudy.
Rudy.
Yes. He's been there for a while, I think. But I took a few of his classes, and they were all tourism classes. And I was lucky that he let me into his class because I wasn't in his program. So those were definitely helpful. And then in my master's too, I did my whole entire capstone project on wedding planning. And so I interviewed a bunch of wedding planners, and I made a whole portfolio as if I were a wedding planner. And so I think about that and, kind of budgets and stuff that I worked on with that project that really helped kind of translate into this job that I'm doing now.
Have you planned any weddings here?
I haven't. It's not my market, so I don't do any social events. But there's kind of like similarities because I have done like I've helped with like galas and stuff like that, and that kind of translates a little bit. So I think that it's helped me kind of in that area.
Nice. If you weren't event planning or in the hotel industry, do you know what you would be doing?
Well, it's kind of way different. I love like crime and stuff. Like when I was younger, like even in high school and stuff, I wanted to go to school for like forensic science and I don't know. I think maybe like a criminal investigator. So it's like completely different than like event planning or anything. But that's just something that I've always been interested in. But I don't really see myself doing anything else.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, of course.
Don't forget about MTSU and their new program. If y'all are ever needing interns or people to work the front desk and start out or anything, you can always reach out. There's a lot of students looking for work, and it's an awesome program.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you.